Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Won't you share with a friend or two? Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning to you. You, good morning to you. You, good morning to you. And many more, and many more, and many more. Good morning, and welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host today, Shantae Charles. I hope that you are having a great and wonderful day. It is Daring Dialogues Get Free Friday. It is another beautiful day outside here in the Maryland area, in the Maryland region. It is, I think, somewhere between 40 and 50 degrees. It's still quite chilly, a little bit windy outside. Um, I tend to think that we might have one last dumping of snow based on how cold it still is. I have seen a bee or two outside, but I haven't seen more than that. And I've seen one housefly. So I don't think that they're all quite ready to come out just yet. That's just my nature assessment. But again, today is Get Free Friday. I want to give you some quick announcements before we go into the readings. On Monday, we are going to be looking at poetry, and we'll be reading from these two books here, African American Poetry, 250 Years of Struggle and Song. And then we'll also be looking at this one here, The Black Poets, a new anthology edited by Dudley Randall. So we'll be doing some new and some old poetry. We're also going to take a look at this book. Most people have probably seen this artist's work online, um, but this is a new work that is taking her artwork and then talking about the women that she has illustrated, and that is Karen Hallian. Again, you've probably seen her artwork online, but there is a whole anthology entitled She Changed the World. So we'll be looking at this on Monday. We'll take a look at some women from this book. Also, as a reminder, on March 28th on our Black Table Talk Facebook page, we are going to have a time of mutual aid. So on March 28th, March 28th at 12 noon, we're going to put up a post for mutual aid. What is mutual aid? Mutual aid is where we give out money via Cash App to help people with whatever it is. So that's what we'll be doing on March 28th at 12 noon. So put it in your calendar, and we will distribute until the funds run out. Now, here's the thing. We're only distributing funds that have been given to us. That's how it works. So the funds that have been given to us to help others, that is what we're going to be distributing. And when those funds run out, we will close the window for mutual aid. All right. So far, it's been lasting about an hour. People drop in, they'll put their Cash App down, and then we will distribute the funds based on what we have. So somebody who might, need lunch, you know, somebody who might need some gas money, somebody who might need a few more dollars added to their grocery shopping. So right now it's just a way for us to offer mutual aid to the community and give back. All right, let's hop into our readings for today. This one is coming from Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbrough. I've really been enjoying this devotional. I actually started at the end of last year and then I just continued over to the start of this year to continue in this devotional. March 21st, cast the first stone. Many people need more hope than help. Keep hope alive. Now, that statement is by Jesse Jackson, founder of the Rainbow Coalition, and most people know that that is his famous signature line, keep hope alive. But I'm going to say, Jesse, right now people need help and hope, help and hope, help and hope. The writer goes on to say here, when the great library of Alexandria was burned down, one book was saved. A poor man bought it for a few coins. It was not well written, but it was unique. Within its binding, it contained a thin strip of parchment on which was written the secret of the touchstone. The touchstone was a small pebble that can turn any common metal into pure gold. The writing explained that it could be found on the shores of the Black Sea, lying among thousands and thousands of other rocks that looked exactly like it. But the secret was this: the real stone would feel warm, while the ordinary pebbles were cold. So the man sold his few belongings, bought some simple supplies, camped on the seashore, and began searching among the pebbles. He knew that if he picked up ordinary stones and dropped them because they were cold, he might pick up the same pebble hundreds of times. So when he felt one that was cold, he threw it into the sea. As his hope faded, he spent days, weeks, months, and years searching for the touchstone. Yet he continued his routine, picked up a pebble, saw if it was cold, and then threw it into the sea, and so on. But one morning he picked up a pebble that was warm. Inadvertently, he still threw it into the sea. He had gotten so used to discarding the stones that when he found the one he wanted, he still threw it away. Don't give up your hope. It's the touchstone. Without hope, there is nothing. Keep hope alive. Don't throw it away. I like that. It's one of those stories that you might want to share with some young people. All right. The next devotion we're looking at is the one on women, Meditations for Black Women, 75 Mindful Reflections to help you stay grounded. Today's reflection is find your joy. You have to find what sparks a light in you so that you, in your own way, can illuminate the world. Oprah Winfrey, media mogul, host, actor, producer, and philanthropist. Meditation. Choosing to chase my joy will lead me to a fulfilling life. Finding your joy in a world that often overlooks Black women is a revolutionary act of self love and self preservation. Cultivating happiness is what helps you unearth your life's purpose, reclaim your personal narrative, and build self confidence that illuminates the world. To find what brings you joy, you will have to go on a journey of self discovery. To maintain your joy, you will have to be intentional about engaging with the things that make your soul smile. Now, for me, I like to say I'm going to do the things that make my soul sing, not just smile. Knowing what joy looks like to you is important because what brings everyone joy is unique and to their own liking. Joy can be found in different ways. It can be found in simple pleasures like long walks and listening to your favorite song on repeat, or through several shared experiences like finding a community and sisterhood of friends who share your interests and empower each other. In a society that wants to see you suffer, your joy is a declaration that your existence is not defined simply by struggles, but by the bright light that lives within you. The path to true joy starts with prioritizing your self care and mental health. You will need to set boundaries with the people in your life and seek additional support when you need it. Creating joy in your life also begins with speaking positively to yourself and challenging any negative thoughts that seek to ruin your happiness. Action for today. Take a moment to think about what brings you joy, then plan how you can make more time for these things. Now, one of the things that is bringing Black people joy right now is music and dance. I saw some comments on my Black Table Talk page. I put up this video of these two women, probably obviously friends, who were in front of the White House, and they were in front of the gates, and they were dancing and holding hands and shouting. And then there was some music playing in the background saying, "Only God can do it." And then the subtopic said, the White House is doing everything they can basically to get people out into the streets to protest. And there were some comments on there. And one of the comments was, "Oh, these people, these Black people are so lost." They're so lost. I said, well, just say you don't understand Black history. Just say that. Because again, singing and dancing and moving our bodies, also known today in the uh, coined term, I'll just say that, somatic therapy, somatic healing. Black people have been doing that. We're not going to stop. Like, we're just not. It's a part of our makeup to be able to engage in praise and veneration and joy through movement. That's something we've always done. So when I see a comment like that that tries to diminish or that tries to mock what Black people have always done, I always ask myself, whose descendants are still here after all the stuff that's been done to our ancestors? I don't know. I'd be kind of trying to learn from those people to see how they have sustained their joy through all of the stuff that has been thrown at them and their ancestors. What is it about this thing that they keep engaging in where they keep making it through all of these insurmountable odds? Like, I wouldn't be mocking that. I'd be trying to find out how to do it myself. That's just me. I mean, maybe, I don't know. That's just me. Then the other comment I saw was, well, if you all keep doing this, you're not going to get anywhere in the world. And then I had to say, I don't know, because there was a group of people that whooped the tail of some French soldiers back in the 1800s. And they were doing things like dancing and praying and beating drums and working with their herbs. They were dancing, and then they were whooping the tail of these French soldiers who had sent all of these thousands of armies to try to contain them. Yeah. So again, I'm going to ask, these are the same people that the French could not whip, the French could not beat. There must be something to this part of their practice that has power in it. So again, rather than mocking it, I'd be trying to figure out, hey, can you teach me a couple of those steps? Because clearly something you're doing is working for y'all. I'm just saying. There's just certain things I wouldn't mock. I wouldn't do that. Something to think about, though. And if you've never heard of it, go look up somatic, Somatic, somatic healing, somatic therapy. Last book. This is coming from We Will Rest, The Art of Escape by Dr. Tricia Hersey, New York Times bestselling author of her other book we've read here called Rest is Resistance. This is sort of her follow-up. I really like this book. This is more, I would say, kind of her essays and thoughts on rest. And this essay is called The Escape Plan Begins. I think this is perfect for Get Free Friday. So let's see what she has to say. The couch as refuge. The dark brown couch sat very low to the wooden floor in our small living room. It became an altar for my rest experiments, a knowing that I no longer could exist in the unsustainable pace of a life controlled by capitalism. Every day I would lay flat on the couch no matter what time it was. Each day consisted of making sure my son was off to elementary school, feeding us, attending classes at graduate school, working a student job at the archive library, picking up my son, cooking dinner, and then getting back onto the couch. Weekends consisted of cooking, doing homework, and napping on the couch in between. I also read from the couch. I assisted with my son's homework from the couch. I entertained my son from the couch. Every moment of the day was focused on when I could lay down on the couch, get back in bed, and steal a moment away to stare out the window. The couch became an intervention accessible to me immediately. I didn't need to leave my home or travel from my city to retreat into a world outside the one I had already built. My body was my retreat, my site of liberation. My body is my home. I enjoyed my physical home and the people in it, and the inexpensive couch that my husband bought when he got a small holiday bonus check from work. I woke up from a long nap in our actual bed one day after studying for 2 days straight for a final exam, and he had snuck the new couch into our living room. The first time I saw it, I knew it was special. After sitting down once on it, I immediately wanted to recline, so I did. My refuge. It became a sacred object, creating a powerful place of empowerment to connect me with my divine. My body attached to the couch became the deepest place of freedom as I demanded deliverance out of the bondage of grind culture. Identify your sacred object. Do you have a couch, a favorite chair, a hammock, a yoga mat, a special blanket, a carpeted floor that becomes a massive rest space for you? Can you spend time on the porch sky gazing? Do you have an accessible outdoor area full of grass? I once napped every day on my lunch break at an oppressive call center job in my car. But my couch, I craved it, and it accepted me in all my tiredness and exhaustion. A ritual that lasted for months. This was the door, and on the other side of it, my escape artist's life began. The portal that rest provides to those suffering under the weight of capitalism, white supremacy, and patriarchy. Rest wants us to see it as an escape, a refuge, and a guide. Unlearn the lies about what it means to labor in a culture so deeply unwell and sleep deprived. Crawl if you must. Demand if you must. You must rest. The escape plan continues. In collaboration with my inexpensive couch was my bathtub, shiny, slick white porcelain baptismal pool in a small bathroom, vintage green tile on the floor and the lower half of the walls, a small window that was hard to pry open. I filled up the bathtub daily, slowly pouring in potions and powders and hopes. Always ground oatmeal, lavender essential oil, Epsom salt, coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, sometimes tears too. A small, salty volume of tears, blending and mixing slowly. Watching the hot water fill up was hypnotizing. Climbing in and feeling the water hug my skin was my baptism. This was when I reclaimed my body as my own. Reclaim your body. The escape plan continues. It's 6 a.m., and as my eyes open, I realize I have slept through my alarm yet again. Most nights I went to bed in the burning midnight of the oil hours, falling asleep, or more accurately, passing out quickly as my eyelids got heavy while doing something else. I can count the times on one finger when the circumstances of my day allowed me to intentionally plan for bedtime. The robot mode of doing is so hard to deprogram from. It can feel like your entire world will crumble if you slow down even for a few hours. I connected my lack of money with how much laboring I could fit in one day, even though I was overworking at two jobs sometimes. Poor people work more hours a week than most. The culture makes it almost impossible to believe you can thrive without internalizing capitalism. I thought I would die. I thought the exhaustion of capitalism would crush me, but rest saved my life. Anyone in this culture who believes and feels that they are enough right now has begun the escape artist transformation. A brave trickster and master teacher in faith, and enoughness in a culture that teaches us that there's never enough. A prophet, to know in the deepest parts of your soul that your birth grants you divinity, rest, care, and power is a seed planted in fertile ground. But you don't have to wait until you are fully knowing. You don't have to wait until you have found the light already inside you. It's there. You can come to rest in the path of escape by simply acknowledging that you are exhausted and it feels challenging to keep up with the unstable pace that capitalism demands. This awareness is also a seed in fertile ground. The thing about me and other escape artists before me is this: I'm going to thrive even when the world is on fire because my help doesn't come from this wicked world. Be a witness and rejoice in the representation of a Black woman who refuses to overwork, who says no constantly, and who doesn't view busyness as a badge of honor. I want to be a witness to your escape plans. My honor is centered in my humanity. I don't have to do anything else. There is life and rest outside of the constant need to grind and work constantly. Capitalism has a chokehold over our lives right now. The next second, the next minute, the next hour is ours to refuse the grind. We can craft and build temporary spaces of joy and freedom here, right now. Listen close. It's time to lay down. It will take deep subversion, dreaming, and community care. Can I hold your hand? May I lay you down on a bed made of love and orchids? Will you transform and prepare for escape with me? If you don't participate in the heavy lifting that grind culture demands and things fall apart because of this, let it fall. Trust your body. Trust spirit. Trust community. Trust your divine connection to power. Trust resurrection. Trust the infinite ways we can rest. And that is her drawing there of herself going to rest. All right. We've got about 10-15 minutes here before I am going to wrap up completely. I am not sure if my guest is on or not. I have not seen him say good morning, so we might be ending early. We will see. All right, if you are a subscriber, we are on subscriber mode only. And if you have subscribed and you have been on for 10 minutes or longer, you can feel free to comment below. Tell me what you think about today's reading. All right, I did send you the invite, so hopefully you have received it. I tried to make sure that I sent it. I'm going to check again. See. All right, for some reason it's only showing, it looks like it's only showing yesterday's link. Why is it doing that? That's because it keeps sending you yesterday's link. I don't know why it's sending you the wrong link. So let me see. Let me see here. I'm not sure why it's sending you yesterday's link today. All right, see if that one works. 'Cause I just sent it again. Okay. And then on my screen, there's not a way for me to hmm, there's not a way for me to drop it. Okay, there you go. I see you. All right. Good morning. Can you hear me? Um, your connection is choppy. I see you, but you're frozen. Your connection is choppy. Okay, I can hear you now. I can. All right, we've got about 10 minutes. Go ahead and you can begin sharing your thoughts. Mhm. Mhm. Listen, I when I see those kind of comments, it's an immediate block. I don't care if you black saying it or white saying it, because what that tells me is you don't have an appreciation and honor for the pathways in which our ancestors resisted and
Mm-hmm.
maintained their joy.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, you and I must part.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, what black women are not finna do in this hour is we're not finna over explain, and we're not gonna keep on
No.
explaining.
No.
That's what we're not doing. And so if you're choosing to have a mocking tone, you're trying to take a mocking tone with the power of our ancestors and the power of them being able to survive the stuff that they survived so that we could be here in this generation to fight, to have the strength, to have the courage, to have the wisdom to fight. You don't need to be in my space. Go find another space. Matter of fact, go create your own space to go be ignorant in. But what we're not doing in this space is we're not going to deny the power of our ancestral pathways. And here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, you don't show me a video where you see people mocking indigenous people practices and dances. Show it to me.
You won't see it.
Exactly.
You won't see it.
Exactly. Show me the video where you see somebody mocking Irish step dancing.
You won't see it.
You won't see it. Okay. And so my thing is, do you think I was born yesterday? Do you think I was
Mm.
born yesterday? Why are you down in black people's comment sections trying to mock the way that we show joy and appreciation,
Mm-hmm.
the way that we connect spiritually. That's why you got to go. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you can't be in my space.
Yeah. I actually had to straighten the guy out, the white guy, a couple of days ago because there was a conversation going on, and I was saying about how our black women are resting and black men are watching over them. We are doing us, and we're looking out for us. And he want to go into this segregation thing. I said, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. I said, it was your ancestors that began segregation. So do
Hmm.
you really want to go there? Do you really want to learn that history? You know, and I told him, I said, why is it that Latins can get together and be concerned about them and focus on them? Whites can focus on them. Asians can focus on their group. But when blacks focus on their group, it's a problem. I said, that's because you are the problem. You and your white supremacy racism. That's the problem. You only
Hmm.
have a problem when black people do black people.
Yeah.
Latins can do Latins, Asians can do Asians. White folks, they run around here talking about white power when just because black people started saying black power to encourage black people because of your oppression, and now you're talking about white power. Now you're talking about you're being oppressed. Get out of here with that. You have never been enslaved.
Yet, and let me
Yet,
add,
yet,
let me
right. You
add
know what?
yet to it.
I addressed that yesterday too. I addressed that yesterday because of China and how China is making deals with Mexico so they don't have to go through the Panama Canal. They can come right across Mexico, which is going to cut out a lot of stuff. See, and America finna lose a whole lot of stuff. And I say they better leave China alone because we owe China so much money that if China said, give me my money, America can't pay them. So what are they going to do? They're going to take America's most prized possession, their white children, and they're going to work that off. They will be indentured service slash slaves. But you know, they don't believe anything I say. You know that.
Well, I've been telling people if China calls in its debts, it's gonna be paying those debts off with the exchange of human resources. And that
Mm-hmm.
human resource ain't gonna be who America wants to give them. It's gonna be who they want to take.
Mm-hmm. Their most
Let's
prized
be clear.
possession.
Let's be clear about that. It ain't gonna be who America is gonna offer up. They gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you can have the blacks and the browns." No, no, that's not who they want. They gonna want your children specifically because,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, America sees them as the prized possession.
Mm-hmm.
Else, we would not be having all of these laws centered around, increasing the population in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Another comment that came today, white guy, of course, he said, if you ever want to be taken seriously, don't act like this. And I said, funny, the Haitians whooped the French acting just like this.
Yep. They sure did. And everybody that tried to help the French whipped their butts too.
And so again, and somebody else came on the post and they said, well, didn't the Israelites march around Jericho 7 times? Didn't they march and then they play their trumpets at an
Mm-hmm.
appointed time? And I said, listen, those who understand, it doesn't need to be explained.
That's right.
See the issue is you're trying to convince us that our spiritual tools don't work and they are insignificant and they are unnecessary. And you are not going to
Mm-hmm.
convince us of that. Point blank, period.
Because we've done it and it works.
And so if it did not work, you wouldn't have had laws about black people not coming together. You wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
had laws established that for every 6 black people that got together, a white person had to be in the midst.
Mm-hmm.
If it was insignificant and it didn't matter if black people came together and praised and worshiped and played their drums, you wouldn't have had them taking drums away. if it didn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't significant. So again, I encourage people to go and do a little bit more study around the power of sound, around somatic therapy, around the power of music, around the power of being able to dance and move your body, which is a control of your own energy. So many people don't understand. So many people don't understand the power of knowing how to control your own energy and direct your own energy. I encourage people, learn it. Learn it. Final thoughts, Pastor Ben.
Found it
Uh-oh, you're breaking up.
in what's written in scripture. Yeah.
You're breaking up some. And so there and so it's clearer now. And so again, there is a difference between teaching and, I would say, learning, right? So you can come into a place, because I might do a session around that. I do it as a paid consultant. I might do a session around the power of sound, the
Mm-hmm.
power of music, and we might go through some practical ways to do that, that anybody is open to and privy to, right? But if you want to understand the background of why we do what we do, I'm not going to teach you that. You're going to have to go and study. You're going to have to go and do some study. Um, and again, when we think about spiritual tools and spiritual practices, one that is heavily influential to the Black community is hoodoo. And we've covered that before. I've got 5 hours of teaching on nothing but hoodoo. I'm not going to go back and teach that series. It's right here on the page. All you have to do is go to my playlist that says hoodoo and go listen to 5 hours of straight teaching on what that practice is. I will say this: hoodoo is a closed practice. Just like there are other cultures that have closed practices that they don't allow outsiders into, there is hoodoo, the commercialized version, and then there is hoodoo that you have to be either born into it or you have to be selected, and then it go through an initiation practice into those spiritual tools. And so again, learning and understanding why Black people are doing what they're doing, anybody can do that. When it comes to the actual practice, it is a closed system of belief. It is a closed system. Um, and so again, as we close out today, I want people to take away from what we talked about today. We've talked about rest. We've talked about creating a place of escape for yourself. We've talked about creating the space to be and to not let grind culture run and control your life. We've talked about hope and how there are so many people that want to attack hope. They want you to give up hope. Because again, we know that what's happening in this world right now, evil feeds, let me say this, evil feeds on fear, doubt, discouragement, degradation, misery, fear. That's what evil feeds on. Okay. And so it is important for you to hold on to to your faith, to hold on to your hope, to hold on to your joy. Those are all resistance tools when it comes to resisting evil. So anybody trying to mock you doing those three things, you know what team they're playing for. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
If people are mocking those things, you know what team they're playing for. And the last thing, empathy. Empathy, okay? Evil people do not like empathy. So hold on to it. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. I want to thank you all for your time and attention. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. So continue to go out and be what, Pastor Ben? We're going to go out and continue to be
Light.
light. Take care, everyone. Be well. And most importantly, be light.